Yours.
Okie dokie.
Good.
Everybody safe and sound?
Yes, sir.
That's good. All right, everybody ready?
Sir.
Mr. Strickland, you ready?
Your Honor, actually, Joey Contreras from our office ought to be on here. I don't know if he's in the waiting room. I'll call over to his office.
He's not.
He still uses dial-up, Judge, because it makes him more comfortable. So let me see if he's having issues over there.
All right, Morgan, you're up.
Judge, I just wanted to let you know that we requested the officer to be here today, and he's not here yet. I don't know if he's going to join or not.
When did you request him?
I requested him last Tuesday. Let me see what date that was.
Did you personally make contact, or you just got with the liaisons?
Well, I made an email, like a request to the liaison, but I sent him an email and tried to call him as well.
And response, if any?
I have not gotten any responses.
Your Honor, if I may,
I'm listening.
Morgan requested a BCSO officer, deputy, I should say. She requested him through the specific BCSO portal. In addition, when he did not arrive for our scheduled pretrial on Friday, she emailed him, and I don't know exactly when, but she maintains that she tried to call him based off of a number that we have. And so far, all attempts at contact have yielded negative results.
Well, tell me and tell Mr. Strickland, where does that leave us?
Judge, did you want me to go on the record?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Court will come to order. We call case number 623047, scheduled for a motion to suppress the state of Texas versus Abner David Torres. The alleged offense, DWI, date alleged is 9/11/19. I have just been informed by the state that they have attempted to produce a necessary witness, which is a Bexar County Sheriff's officer. What is his name?
His name is Officer Bruce McDougal.
Say again.
Bruce McDougal.
Spell the first one.
BRUCE.
Bruce. I'm informed that Ms. Morgan has been attempting to communicate the necessity that Officer McDougal be present for this suppression hearing since last Tuesday and again Friday, to no avail. Mr. Strickland, the court will hear you on this.
Your Honor, and I apologize. I missed a lot of the conversation. I was trying to get a hold of Mr. Contreras, but I guess the main question I have is, was a subpoena issued for this officer?
No, sir, a subpoena was not issued.
Then, Judge, I mean, I'm going to ask that we proceed. I mean,
What says the state?
Your Honor, I don't think that we can proceed without the officer at this time.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit on me. Say again.
I don't think that we can proceed without the officer at this time.
That's pretty obvious. My question is, why can't we produce him? Are y'all allowed to subpoena the Bexar County Sheriff's officers, Ms. Morgan or Mr. Edelman?
I don't know if we're allowed to request subpoenas for BCSO deputies or not.
I know you're not allowed for SAPD, which I object to, but that's not my purview, or at least it's not my responsibility, especially not today. This is a Bear County Sheriff's Officer, our own officer.
Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to your question, Your Honor. I would point out that as far as I am aware, this is the first setting for this motion at which announcements by both sides have been necessary. And so on that basis, the state requests a continuance. However, in all truthfulness, we cannot tell you whether we would actually be able to produce Deputy McDougal at a subsequent hearing.
And the defense definitely objects to any continuance here, Judge. I mean, especially in a situation, and I understand that the DA's office has policies to, nurture their relationship with law enforcement or whatever, that they don't issue subpoenas for them. I get that. And whatever those policies are, I don't know. I know that the DA's office by law is able to subpoena witnesses, especially necessary witnesses, for hearings and trials such as this, and it just wasn't done. And so whatever the reason is, I mean, I'm sure that the DA's office has greater access to Mr. McDougal's, or excuse me, Deputy McDougal's address or phone number or whatever. And we can't even get close to saying the due diligence was done here. I mean, if the DA's office as a prosecuting entity chooses to willfully not use all means at their disposal to secure witnesses, we can't just say, well, okay, they don't like doing that. I mean, it's out there. They're able to subpoena witnesses. They do it in plenty of situations. And it wasn't done here, Judge. And we're all here. We're all ready. And the defense just objects to any further delay in this case, Judge.
Well, I feel a dilemma, that this being the first setting for the suppression versus the fact that I don't see the due diligence that I would expect. However, we don't know at this moment, right as we speak, we don't know the reason why the officer or the deputy sheriff has not appeared.
Your Honor, it sounds a bit inexcusable that we don't know that. He is a peace officer who regularly brings over DWI cases. I'm sure that the state has multiple ways of getting in touch with him. The fact that he is either choosing to ignore their entrees to him, and the fact combined with this, that the state chose to deliberately not avail of itself of the right to compulsory process to bring him in here, when we have our defendant who is missing work to be here. We prepared this weekend for this case, and it'd be different if we were here because and there was a compelling or even a reasonable reason why he wasn't available. He's sick, family sick, baby's sick, or maybe it was just car trouble. We have nothing. And it just seems unfair to say, well, you have no reason to delay this, but we're going to delay it anyway.
State, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. I mean, we can try again to get a hold of him, but to this point, we have not been able to.
Sir, I think at this point, you're familiar with my penchant for plain speaking. And as much as I don't like the defense's points, they are good points. We don't have any reason for Deputy McDougal's failure to appear. And aside from the efforts that we have already expended, which we have described to the court, we have not used service of process, which we could do, but choose not to do as an entity, much to my chagrin. So whether the defense is going to be upset by the court granting us a reset is entirely up to the court. State doesn't have much opportunity or leeway to complain.
If I had any kind of legitimate excuse offered by the state, and I understand you can't, your hands are tied. Are we to presume that this was an arrest without a warrant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then that puts a burden on the state. State, call your witness.
We have no witness to call, sir.
There being no witness, the state fails its burden under the circumstances. I don't like doing this, but I'm going to grant the suppression. As I said, I don't like doing this one bit. I would hope that the prosecutors in this court in the future will subpoena witnesses from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. I have no idea why, and you offer no idea why there's been no response. The only thing left to me is to say, wait, I can give you a reset, but I don't see why I should in this case, because I'm not offered any kind of reasonable excuse or some effort that I could hang my hat on and say, hey, under these circumstances, I'm going to go ahead and reset the matter. I'm offered none. And I don't like this, not one bit. So the motion to suppress is granted. Obviously, it's not the defense's fault, and I will say for the record that I know these two prosecutors. They act in their own stead with diligence to the extent that they're allowed to. And obviously, in this case, the practice of not allowing subpoenas for Bexar County Sheriff's officers or SAPD, San Juan Police Department officers, I sometimes refer to them, Joy, you'll appreciate that, as frogs, sapos, S-A-P-O, sapo. Anyway, so that will be my ruling at this point.
Just for clarification on your ruling, Your Honor, the relief we requested is that not just the breath test be suppressed, not or drug tests, but all observations by the officer himself.
Well, he's not here to testify to offer any,
Yeah.
and if that's within the motion, I'll
Yes.
review your order. But at this point, the suppression is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Then Mr. Strickland, Mr. Contreras, and Mr. Torres, y'all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. I would like to say before we go that the candor of your two prosecutors was refreshing and appreciated.
They are that type of person that I appreciate.
Yeah.
I hate to see them in a mess like this, but it's not of their own creation. So
We know that.